My name is Gustavo Lopez. We're in El Centro de Tlalpan.
How long have you been in Mexico?
I am going on 15 years in April, April 27th.
Where were you before Mexico?
Before Mexico, I was in Las Vegas for 24 years, roughly. My parents took me to the US when I was about 3 years old. Brothers were born in California, and my mom wanted to go up north, so they stopped by Vegas to check it out. She was always curious about the casinos, and it turned into a weekend. Then it turned into 24 years, and now they're still there.
What's Vegas like?
Vegas is like any other city. It's just a little bit more chaotic. You have a lot of nightlife. So most of my time there working was graveyard shift. You tend to do everything at night. You have to be very careful that you don't get pulled into the gambling, the drinking, the whole nightlife. No, so it could either make you or break you, I feel. My favorite spot in Vegas, I think, was my high school, El Dorado High School. It was close to most of my friends' houses. That's where we would meet up. That's where we'd park our cars when we would go somewhere to a buddy's house, stuff like that. So El Dorado High School, I think, was my favorite spot. What I miss most about living in Vegas was my friends, the life I had when I was there. I do miss the lifestyle, the house, my family and things like that. But I know even if I went back now, it wouldn't be like it was when I was there. So mainly that, my friends, family, and some of the restaurants, some of the food. Miss a lot of that.
So, what happened? How did you end up back here?
I ended back in Mexico through some unfortunate events. I got pulled over with some of my friends when I was 19. Had no license. Obviously, I didn't have any papers. We had open container, things like that. I was 19. I fought my case till I was 24, and immigration stepped in. I went to sign some paperwork. So I was on probation. Signed some paperwork, and ICE was there. Two U.S. Marshals asked me for my name, and they put me on immigration custody. And then I signed a voluntary departure about a month and a half after, and I've been here ever since.
What year was it?
That was in 2011. I wish I would have saved money. I wish I would have been a little bit more prepared. I didn't think it would happen to me. I thought I was American. I thought, oh no, they know I'm from here. They by the way I speak, my friends and things like that. So I wish I would have been more prepared mentally and financially, because it is a process. You come out here and you start from zero, and money's not the same. You think it's going to last, and you come out here with maybe 500-600 bucks, but just like you, it's more than the average salary or the money that you have here. It goes by quick. So that's something I wish I would have learned. When I arrived, I had a duffel bag that my mom was able to give me, because throughout the whole process, they let your family know a few days before so they can get some stuff ready for you. So a duffel bag with an iPhone 4, my favorite tennis shoes, and $200. That's what I arrived with in Mexico.
Do you still have any of that?
I have my jeans ripped, but I have them there. I saved them as I don't know. I don't know why I saved them, but for me, it was very like to remember what I went through. I think, no. So I still have the pair of jeans. The shoes I lost a few years ago, and the iPhone I sold it to have some money when I got here. I had my family waiting for me. I was fortunate enough that they accepted me with doors wide open. My grandpa, a couple uncles, things like that. I was able to stay with my grandpa until he passed away, and yeah, everything was fine until I had to get a job and start the whole process of lifting myself in Mexico. Through the process of being deported or voluntary departure, they dropped me off in particular in Reynosa, Tamaulipas, up in the north. They drop you off at the border. You cross a bridge. Immigration from Mexico picks you up. They can help you either. Their offer was you can go with them, and they can get you on the bus to wherever you need to go, and they pay for it, or they'll drop you off somewhere due to safety reasons. So they dropped me off at the bus station. It was around midnight. I waited there until 2 a.m., got a bus to Monterrey. Monterrey, I arrived around 7, 8 a.m., went to the airport. My family bought me a plane ticket to Mexico City. I waited at the airport until about 4 p.m. Got to Mexico City in the evening, took a taxi to my grandpa's house, and met him after not seeing them for 20 years almost, and started my whole process of kind of soaking everything in. Now it's easier for me to talk about it now. At the time, it was very hard. Um, you're so accustomed to certain things that it's very what's the word for it? It was a life changing moment because I went from living in Vegas, going to casinos every weekend with my buddies, going to the lake, doing certain things, to being on the subway, to being in one of the largest metropolitan cities in the world, to not knowing how to read in Spanish, to just starting from zero and being 24 and blending in with everybody, looking like everybody, but not feeling like I did. So that one for me was very hard because in my mind I felt different, but I didn't look different. So it was very weird because everybody would talk to me in Spanish, everybody would ask me stuff, and I didn't know a lot of things. I didn't know how to read, and very hard. But I went to Lonam, I studied a little bit. I tried to get my certificate as an English teacher. I tried to better myself, and I feel like that helped me out a lot. What I wish I would have known with the transition back to Mexico, how blessed I was in the States, how I had everything in front of me, and how I never took advantage of it, how it's so difficult out here to have a car, to go to Liverpool and buy clothing, to everything out here costs, I feel, twice as much to gain. So I wish I would have known that. I wish I would have been more prepared. I wish I would have, I know this is crazy, everybody says it, listen to my parents, stayed in school, done things the way you were supposed to, but you have to go through a process, and it's crazy that you learn things the bad way, no, until it happens to you. You're like, man, I should have done this or I should have done that. So I think I should have stuck to school and done the things that I should have at the time. I was too focused on working and making money, and school should have been a priority. Well, what I learned to finally being stable and not struggle anymore was stability, staying at a job, being consistent, not using me being here as an excuse. I was very resentful. I wanted to blame everybody, and not until I kind of accepted my process and I reached out more to God, and I became a little bit more religious, my life shifted completely. It's something I don't really talk about because I feel like everybody nowadays, not everybody understands the whole religious thing. Everybody's very open, atheists, all this stuff. But for me, God changed my life incredibly. Being more acceptance of my process, being looking at everything as a blessing, not as a why me or why me. No, like, I have to go to work. No, I say I get to go to work. I get to wake up every day. I being more positive on my everyday. It's hard when you're alone, being self motivated, but that for me has helped me out a lot. Telling myself every day, you have to be good, you have to go to work, looking in the mirror and saying positive things. For me, that helped a lot. I was very resentful, like I said at first. I was always blaming everything on God, saying, God, why did you do this to me? God, this, God, why me? Like, always angry, very mad at the world, didn't want to speak to anybody here. I want to go back to the US. I hate Mexico. Very, very like bad. People didn't like me. It was weird. But I started, like I said, my mom became Christian. Um, I started reaching out more to my faith, thinking more instead of why this, looking at it as a positive. No, I figured once I was here, I got to spend the last year of my grandpa's life with him. He got cancer. So I looked at everything as a blessing. I got to spend his last year with him. I got to come out to Mexico. I get to learn my roots again. I get to live in a country that I feel has opened its arms more to me than the US did. I'm healthier. I eat better. I don't have two, three children like I feel like I would have back in the US. I'm not paying child support. There's certain things that I feel that Mexico blessed me incredibly. And as you know, people in the US, especially in Vegas, they have addictions. A lot of friends that I've lost through overdoses, through addiction, through car accidents, drinking and driving, things like that. So I'm like, God put me here, so I'm still alive, so I still have this life that I have, and it's been such a positive thing for me. Yeah, I found love here in Mexico City.
Tell me about that.
It's very difficult to find somebody in Mexico City, not as far as speaking English, because a lot of people speak English, but to have your kind of background that grew up in the States, that listen to your same type of music, that like the same type of food, things like that. So I found I met my girlfriend about a year ago, exactly yesterday, at an event at the World Trade Center, and we clicked. We started talking a little more and more, and then we ended up realizing that we had friends in common. We worked at the same company years back, and we clicked so good that within 4 months we were living together, and we've already traveled. We've gone to Belize, we've gone to Chetumal, we've gone to Cancun. We just planned a trip for Spain next February. So she changed my life incredibly too.
What's life in Mexico like for you now?
For me now, I recommend it. For me now, it's a blessing being here. For me now, Mexico City is probably the greatest city in the world. I lived in Vegas. I went to LA. I would go a bunch of places in the US, but nothing for me as compared to Mexico City. I always compare it to a real life Gotham City. If it ever existed, it'd be here. I feel like it's New York, LA, and all these big cities together. You have these ultra rich areas, you have these very poor areas. You have everything in one city. You can see a guy driving a Lambo to a guy walking every day. No, so there's everything here, and the food, the culture, the lifestyle you can live out here in Mexico. It changed everything for me. I went from going to station casinos every weekend and eating buffets and to eating at mercados and eating homemade food every day and homemade tortillas. And for me, it's been an incredible journey. It's been a little bit more downs than ups, but it's getting up. So for me, it's been very positive, and I recommend it all the time when people want to either visit or start a life here. You can start and have an amazing life in Mexico City. What I would say to somebody who's facing deportation or is already being deported, I would say for them to not give up. Not it's not the end of the road. It might feel hopeless. It might feel like I'm sorry. Um, I don't even know how to say it. It was so hard for me, so hard. Um, there is something waiting for you at the end of the road. You know, it might be difficult at first, it might be hard, but you will get help. There are people out here who are willing to help you. There's jobs, there's plenty of things to do. It's just going to take a while. It's not going to be from one day to another. No, it took me a few years to get through it. A lot of self evaluation, a lot of depression, a lot of self medication. No, to a certain extent, but I felt like it, it it changed me a lot. And for those who are going through the process now, um, depending on where they're at, it's going to be easier. No, if you're in a border area, it's going to be a little bit harder. I feel, but as long as you find a bilingual job, a call center job, something that pays a little bit more, it'll be a stepping stool to better your life in Mexico and not focus so much on what's going in the U.S. if you want to better your life here. I broke contact with a lot of people. I stopped seeing what they're all doing. I stopped because that's all you think about is, oh, they're doing this without me, or oh, look what they're doing all the time, and you're focusing on a life that it's not going to be yours anymore. So focus on your life here. It's hard at first. It's hard to say, but once you focus on your life here and accept it, it'll change. Don't give up on yourself. Because it's hard. It took me 5 6 years to actually want to be here and have a good job and have good friends, and but once you find good friends and a good steady job, I feel like that'll change everything for you. Yeah, it's hard. It's crazy. You made me think of things I hadn't thought about in a long time, feelings I hadn't felt in so long. A warning I would give to people who are facing deportation or are going to be deported: don't be so trustworthy with everybody that you meet, because not everybody is as nice as you. Not everybody went through your same process. They might seem like it, but a lot of people do have a past, you know, and some of them show it when they're here, you know, and just don't trust everybody, but make sure that people you do trust and the friends that you acquire, you keep them, because out here it's hard to make friends. Out here in Mexico, the friends that I've made, their friends have been friends for 20, 30 years. I'm the new guy in all the groups. So you notice people here are very closed. So when you find a good group, stick with it and you'll help each other out.